Hello and welcome to my first ever GCSE Further Maths video, and this video is on factor theorems and how to solve them. So there's three main steps that you need to solve factor theorems, and I'll be going over them in this video. And let's just start. So step 1 is to find x. So essentially what this question is saying here, so you've got x minus 3, you're trying to find if x minus 3 is a factor of x cubed minus 10x squared plus 21x. It's saying that when this is factorized fully, x minus 3 is one of the double brackets that are there. So this is x minus 3, and there'll probably be like two other double brackets with different values inside of them because it's the x cubed term. So, but yeah, it's saying that one of these is x minus 3. And if you know how to solve quadratics, in which there's only two double brackets, you'll know that, let's just say when you have x minus 3, you might have another one, you might have like x plus something plus 5, for example. And when you do that, when you're finding x, you basically make this entire thing equal to 0, and use something called the zero product rule, and just make these individual double brackets equal to 0, and then make them equal to a number. Find x, basically. In this case it would be x plus 5 is equal to 0, x is equal to minus 5. And the same idea applies to this question here. So x minus 3 would equal, x minus 3 would therefore equal 0, oh, god damn it, equal 0, and therefore x would equal 3. You got x now, haven't you? And as you can see, you have x here as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to sub in for x, and I'll write this in a different colored pen. Okay, so number 2 now. So you'll have 3 cubed and minus 10x squared. 10 times, you've got to remember that's just 10 times x squared. X is 3, squaring that 3 in this, and then it's literally just from here. So, and then minus 21, sorry, plus 21 times 3. So you have 3 cubed, that would equal 27. And then you've got minus 10 times 3 squared, which is 9, so you got minus 90, because 10 times 9 is 90. And then you've got 21 times 3, which is 46. No, 43, sorry, 43. Yes, 21, 42. What am I doing? 63. Yeah, 63. So, 63. Now if you do 63 plus 27, you'll get 90. And 90 minus 90 is equal to 0. This is like a key stage you're working out, because the entire point of this is to prove that when you sub in for x, it equals 0, and that's how you know that your answer is correct. So now step 3 would be to say, because your examiner would see, okay, he's got 0, you'd be saying therefore x minus 3 in this case is a factor, a factor of x cubed minus 10x squared plus 21x, and that would be your 2 to 3 marks. So yeah, let's get on and move on to the next question, which will be a bit harder than this one, but I hope you understand the principle of these questions and how they're not that hard. And yeah, let's move on. So in this next question, this harder factor theorem question, we're given a function, and that's, you don't have to worry about the function. It's just it's mainly to do with this, which makes it harder, the actual factor that we're given. So 4x minus 1. We can't just, you know, reverse the plus or minus on the number to get your answer. You have to actually understand that 4x minus 1 is equal to 0, and therefore x would equal minus a quarter. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things to see in this. And then obviously subbing this minus sign into this, and you know, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. But yeah, let's just get started on that. So I'll just move this up a bit more space and just write x is equal to negative a quarter. And for step 2, we just sub it all in. So we have 4 times minus 1 over 4, and then that will be cubed, because it's being cubed here, so this cube sign here, so we're just going to be cubing it. And then the next one is 5x squared, so it would be plus 5x squared. 5 times minus 1 over 4, minus 1 over 4, and that would be squared. Yep, squared. And then minus 23 times minus a quarter, 1 over 4. And yeah, and that's it. And then minus 6 as well, actually, minus 6. And all of that, as I've mentioned before, should equal 0, because it's saying that we're supposed to prove that this factor is a factor of this equation right here, this cubic equation. I'll just underline it. Yeah. So let's go on to working this out. So you got to understand that 4 times 4 is not 8, it's 16. There's a lot of mistakes made and that sort of thing, where like you just, you know, do wrong multiplication. And you got to also understand that a minus times a minus is a plus, but when you're cubing it, it would be, when you're like, obviously when you're I'll do it down here actually. So if I do 1 over 4, so minus 1 over 4 times minus 1 over 4, I would get 1/8, right? Because minus times a minus is equal to a plus. But if I times that, sorry, no, I did the exact same mistake, so it would be 1 over 16, sorry, 1 over 16. And if I times that by minus 1 over 4 again, positive 1 over 16, if I times that by minus 1 over 4, I'd get not, I wouldn't add them again, I'd actually times them, it's basically times them, so that would 16 times 4 is 64, I believe, and it will be minus 64 over minus 1, or 1, and minus 1 over 64, which is minus 1 over 64. Yeah, so you gotta understand that when you're cubing it, it'll stay negative then, because you're like timesing it again. So I'll write that in now. So it would be minus 1 over 64 for this, and this right here, as we figured out before, would be 1 over 8, because a minus times a minus is a positive, so it would be positive 1 over 8. Sorry, I did it again. Sorry, 1 over 16. Sorry, 1 over 16, and this would be negative 1 over 4. And what we do now is we put a time sign here. You put your number that you have here over 1, and same for all of them, because you've got 5 here, 5 over 1, positive 5 obviously here. So, and then positive 4 over 1 times 1 minus 1 over 64. So in this one we have 4 times minus 1, that will be minus 4. So it's combining these. I'll just put a thing between them so it's easier to see, kind of. So it'll be minus 4 over, well, minus 64. So I'll just write minus 4 over 64. That can simplify down to 1 over 16. We'll do that later. Then this one is 5 over 16. And this would be minus 23 times minus 1. It would be minus, because it's a minus and a minus, you'd get a plus. So you've got to watch out for those sorts of questions. And we get that because it's minus 23x, right? So you have a minus 23 over 1 times minus a quarter in our as our x value. So you've got 23, so minus 23 times minus 1 would be minus 23, sorry, plus 23, and then that would be over minus 1 times minus 4, which would be plus 4, so that would be positive 4 as well. And then you're just adding these, because it's positive, this is also positive, that's negative 1, so then we simplify this down. I'll actually just make it a bit smaller. So if we do this, we could get 1 over, we'd get minus, if we divide that by 4, we'd get minus 1 over 16, I believe. Yeah, 16. So, oh, God damn it. So I'm just going to erase this real quick and just make some more space. So now we can minus these, so plus 5 minus 1, that would just be 4 over 16 again, and then that new answer would be, I'll write it in a different color, write it in yellow, so that would be 4 over 16, and as you know, that simplifies down to, if you divide that by 4, that would equal 1 over 4, and if we add 1 over 4 to 23 over 4, we would get 24 over 4, and if you don't already know, 24 over 4 times 6 times 4 is equal to 24, so this would equal 6, and if we bring this minus 6 back down here, so 6 minus 6 is equal to 0, that is obviously true, and then step 3 would be to say, therefore, (4x cubed plus 5x squared minus 23x minus 6 is has factor of which is 4x plus 1. And that would be the end of your question. As you can see, it's a lot harder than the other one, and you know, you've got to watch out for these. There'd be like 3-4 markers, this would be at least 3 marks. And yeah, let's go on to the next question, which you'll be doing on your own. So these 2 questions are for you to try, so just pause the video here and have a go at them, and when you're ready for the answer, just unpause. So here are the answers. As you can see, we've used the same 3 steps again. We found x, which is minus 4 in the first question, we've subbed it in, and we've made it equal to 0 and proved, as we've done here, that it is equal to 0, and because of that, we can therefore prove that it is a factor of x cubed plus 4x squared minus 3x minus 12. And the same thing applies here, so in all these questions, in all these factor theorem questions, it's always going to be these 3 steps, and I hope you got the answer right. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed, and have an amazing day, I guess. Yeah.